You're on your trip, arrive at the destination, but right after the first day you realize it's not what you expected. The city doesn't have enough to offer for the time you're staying there. So, what do? Do you walk around with a bad mood, always bored and walking in circles? No, of course not. My friends and I had the same problem on the last trip. Here's how we fixed it. Instead of letting this ruin our mood and our trip, we decided that it was a chance to see more instead of less. So let me explain the situation to you. Two friends of mine and I decided to take a 4-day trip to Italy this summer. The destination we chose? Bari. Seemed to be a nice, cozy little city. The only problem was, we realized that right after the first day, we had basically seen everything there was to see. But instead of frowning and feeling disappointed, this is what we did. We took day trips to cities nearby and thereby experienced more cool stuff than we ever could have just staying in one place. But how did we find those cool places around us? Well, a friend of mine just searched on TikTok for the region that we were in, and voila, found a couple nice spots. So, if you ever find yourself in this situation, I would encourage you to just do the same thing as we did. Look up the city or the region that you're in on TikTok, Instagram, Google Maps, and see what pops up. A lot of the times you'll find these short form videos or posts from people who've basically already done the work for you. They show you the viewpoints, the small towns, the beaches, whatever, that you would have never found just by walking around the main city. What you can also do is to just go onto Google Maps and zoom out. Maybe you'll find a nice city that looks interesting to you, and if you do, just quickly search things to do in and the city name and check if it's worth a day trip. It doesn't have to be super well planned or perfect at all. You just need one or two interesting places and a bit of curiosity, and you can turn a boring trip into an experience that you'll never forget. The train tickets didn't cost us much, so we just went to the train station, explored the new city for a couple of hours, and basically only spent the evenings back in Bari. What helped us personally a lot was just keeping things simple. We didn't try to squeeze like 10 different spots into one day. We just chose a city, found out how long the train takes, roughly, and made sure we were back before it got too late. And if you want to do something similar to this, some day trips, there's at least two things I think you should always double check. Firstly, and I think most importantly, is for you to know when the last bus or train goes back to your original destination. And secondly, for you to always have at least a little bit of battery or even better a power bank on you, especially if you're someone who, like us, takes a lot of pictures, scrolls on their phones, uses Google Maps a lot. There's gonna be a small story about this later on in the video. You don't need a perfectly organized itinerary to have a great time. All you need is a clear way to get there and back and a bit of curiosity, and everything else usually just falls into place once you're there. And if I'm completely honest, for us as young guys, I feel like being out there, exploring, unplanned, was the coolest thing we could have done anyway. So in a way, I'm quite grateful that Bari wasn't enough for us, but also that we didn't just say, yeah, well, I guess we'll have to cope with it, like many other people maybe would have. Honestly, the places we've been to were just breathtaking. Alberobello, I'll probably show you a couple of pictures right now. Beautiful place with small white little houses with pretty roofs. And then my personal highlight, Matera, a medieval city straight out of some movie. And honestly, I just checked it out, and part of James Bond No Time to Die was actually shot there. Genuinely the coolest place I've ever been to so far. We had a drink at a terrace bar and then took a small hike onto a hill right next to Matera, from where we could see the whole place. A small sub-story to this, by the end of this trip of ours to Matera in the afternoon, we wanted to start planning on how to get back home to Bari, which bus to take, what connection, all of that. And basically all three of us realized that we'd all almost run out of battery. None of our phones would have lasted for probably more than 10 to 15 more minutes, and the problem was we still hadn't eaten at that point yet. So we decided to go up to a small restaurant and ask them if they could charge my friend's phone for us. And basically, sure, they said yes and just disappeared to the back with the phone. And that's when my friend started to worry if he'd ever get his phone back. So he even told me to take a quick picture of the waiter with the phone in his hand so that we kind of had proof if anything shady went down. So the food came and we all ate, full of anxiety the whole time, just waiting for that damn phone to come back at the end. And every time someone came out the restaurant, we were watching them like hawks, making sure that the phone didn't disappear magically. But after we had eaten, we had paid everything. It even took them a while to get the damn phone out the restaurant again, which just stretched out our stressful time even more. But in the end, thank God, my friend got his phone back with a little bit of extra battery, and we made it back to Bari no problem. It's crazy to think that had we been content with the place we were staying at, we would have never seen these magnificent places. So maybe this can help you change your perspective to turn a negative moment into a positive one. I think a lot of us get this image in our head before a trip, right? We see all those perfect photos and videos online, but when we get there it feels kind of flat. Not bad, just not as magical as the internet made it seem to be. And I get it, it's easy to feel disappointed and say, I spent all that money on this? But that's the point where you get to decide how the trip is gonna go. You can stay in that mindset and basically ruin the vibe. Or you can say, okay, cool, it's not what I expected, but what can I do with what I have? So, if you ever find yourself in this spot where the destination doesn't meet your expectations, don't be disappointed. See the opportunity, see the possibility to see places that might be even more breathtaking, even better than the original spot. In a way, you might even have an advantage in this situation, because many of these places with some kind of special architecture or similar things oftentimes don't even really offer many hotels or stays, and if they do, they're super expensive. So they're almost made for you to stay somewhere else and then take day trips there. So if you find yourself in this situation, don't feel discouraged. Make the best out of the situation, always. And who knows, it might even be better than what you planned originally. If you're interested in more stories about the Italy trip, let me know by liking this video and commenting Bari down below. Also, if you find this kind of mindset helpful, feel free to subscribe for more travel tips.